If you ever look at an old family photo and feel like someone is staring back at you, don't zoom in. I made that mistake, and I can't undo what I saw. In every single photo from my family's past, a man is smiling in the background. Nobody remembers him. Nobody knows his name. But he is there, in all of them. Before I go further, if you love slow-burn psychological horror like this, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Unblinking. It helps the channel more than you think. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. My name is Daniel Harper. I'm 34 years old, and I work as a records clerk in a small railway archive office just outside Denver. Not a haunted place. Not abandoned. Just rows of metal shelves, boxes of paperwork, and old family documents people donate when they clear out estates. I spend my days scanning photographs. That's how this started. It was a Tuesday afternoon around 3:20 p.m. Sunlight came through the dusty windows and made the air look thick. I had just opened a donation box labeled Harper Personal. That's my last name too. I didn't think much of it. Harper's common. I put on gloves and started sorting through old albums, black and white photos, Polaroids, faded color prints from the 80s and 90s. And then I saw him. At first, he was just a background figure, a man standing behind a group photo at what looked like a 1972 backyard barbecue. Everyone else looked normal, laughing. Holding paper plates, a grill, smoking behind them, but he was standing at the very edge. He wasn't blurred like someone walking past. He wasn't part of the group either. He was just there. Smiling, not a big grin. Not wide teeth, just a calm, steady smile. The kind that doesn't change. I turned the photo over. Harper family, July 1972. I felt something odd, a small twist in my stomach. Because the faces in that photo looked familiar, I kept digging. Another album, 1984. Different house, different people. He was there again. This time, standing in the far back, near the hallway, half his body hidden behind a door frame. Same posture, same smile. No one else in the picture was looking at him. I checked the back of that photo too. Harper family Christmas. I told myself it was coincidence. Maybe a neighbor, maybe a distant relative, maybe someone who just happened to be at multiple gatherings. But then I found something that made my hands go cold. A photo from 1999. This time, it wasn't strangers. It was my family. My father, my uncle, me as a kid, maybe 7 years old, holding a plastic baseball bat. And in the background, near the fence, he was there. Same face, same smile. He hadn't aged. I sat back in my chair. The archive room felt smaller. The fluorescent lights hummed louder than usual. Maybe it was a printing error. Maybe someone edited the images. But these were physical prints, some decades old. Primera saye ned de 1972 photo into the computer. Then the 1984 one, then 1999. I zoomed in on his face. The resolution changed. The grain sharpened. His eyes were open wider than I first noticed. Not in a dramatic way, just slightly too wide. Like he was trying very hard not to blink. That's when I remembered something. When I was a kid, I hated family photos. I used to feel like someone behind the camera wasn't the only one watching us. I shook the thought away. Memory is unreliable. Stress plays tricks on the mind, but I couldn't stop looking. The next day, I brought my own family albums from my apartment. I hadn't opened them in years. My dad passed away 3 years ago. It felt strange, flipping through them alone. Birthday parties, school events, random backyard pictures. He was in every single one. At first, always far back by net 3, near a parked car. Reflected faintly in a window, always smiling. And slowly, as the years moved forward, he came closer. In my 10th birthday photo, he was by the garage. In my high school graduation photo, He stood at the end of the driveway. In a picture from 5 years ago at my dad's retirement dinner, he was inside the room, standing against the wall behind us, still smiling. My breathing became shallow. I laid the photos side by side across my kitchen table. Chronological order. There was a pattern. Distance shrinking. The most recent photo I had was from last year. My 33rd birthday. Just a small gathering at my apartment. 3 friends. A cake. Cheap decorations. He was inside the kitchen, right behind me. Close enough that if I had leaned back, I would have touched him. I don't remember anyone like that being there. I don't remember anyone standing behind me. I checked the digital version on my phone. Same thing. He was there too. That's when I started losing sleep. At work, I couldn't focus. Every time I scanned another old family photo from a different donor, I felt nervous. I started checking those too. At first, nothing. Then, I found him again. Different surname. Different city. A farm in Kansas. 1965. He was behind the barn. Smiling. I checked another random box. A family from Oregon. 1992. A beach trip. He stood near the water line, smiling. No one ever looked at him. No one seemed aware. I started cataloging them privately. Dates, locations, families with no connection to mine. The same face, the same expression. Never again. And always moving closer in newer photos. I told myself, maybe I was maybe the human brain connects dots that aren't real. Sleep deprivation can do strange things, but then something changed. One afternoon, around 4:05 p.m., I scanned a photo from 2018. A retirement party at an office in Chicago. He wasn't in the background. He was standing directly behind the main subject, almost shoulder to shoulder. And his smile looked wider, not exaggerated. Just slightly more stretched, as if something about proximity made it stronger. I printed the scan and placed it beside my own latest birthday photo. They looked almost identical in spacing. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I took a new photo in my apartment, just me, standing in front of the mirror, phone raised. I checked the image. Nothing unusual. Relief washed over me. Maybe it had stopped. Maybe it was just confined to older images. But 3 days later, I looked at that same mirror selfie again. He was in it. Behind me. Not fully visible, just part of his shoulder near the doorway. Smiling. I dropped my phone. I know how this sounds. I know what you're thinking. Editing glitch. Memory distortion. Maybe I forgot. Someone walked behind me. But I live alone. No one had access to my apartment. I started checking security footage from the hallway outside my door. My building has cameras. Nothing. No unknown visitors. No strange entries. Still, in every new photo I took, he appeared. Closer each time. I stopped taking pictures. I stopped answering calls. I avoided reflective surfaces. Windows at night made my chest tighten. Computer screens felt dangerous. One evening at work, I accidentally opened my laptop camera. For a split second, I saw my reflection and baned me. Only a few feet away, he was standing inside the archive room. A spoon around empty shelves, boxers stacked neatly. Silence. When I turned back to the screen, he was still there in the camera feed. Closer than before. His face almost level with mine. That smile unchanged. I slammed the laptop shut. Maybe stress played tricks on my mind, or maybe some places carry things we simply don't understand. But something was shifting. The next morning, I noticed something terrifying. In the latest photo on my phone gallery, taken automatically when I unlocked it by accident, he wasn't behind me anymore. He was beside me, standing on my right shoulder, smiling at the camera as if he belonged in the frame, and I wasn't looking at the camera. I was looking at him. In the photo, My own eyes were turned slightly to the right, my expression confused. Almost aware, I don't remember that moment happening. I don't remember turning my head. I deleted the photo. It came back. Not immediately, but after a few hours, it reappeared in my gallery. Same timestamp. Same image. Except now, he was a little more forward. Part of his arm slightly overlapping mine. I stopped sleeping entirely. Days blurred together. I avoided mirrors. Covered reflective surfaces with towels. I even put tape over my laptop camera. But photos kept updating. Old pictures in my archive folders began changing too. In earlier decades where he stood far back, he now appeared slightly closer than before. It was as if time inside the images wasn't fixed, as if he was walking forward across years. Toward me. One night, I decided to test something. I set up my phone on a shelf and started recording video, not a photo. Continuous recording. I stood in the center of my living room for 10 minutes. Nothing happened. I checked the footage. For the first 9 minutes, I was alone. At minute 9 and 30 seconds, the air behind me looked slightly darker. At 9 minutes and 40 seconds, a shape formed. At 9 minutes and 50, he was standing there. No sound, no movement, just appearing gradually and smiling. I felt my chest tighten so hard I thought I would pass out. When I replayed the last seconds, something changed. At exactly 9 minutes and 59 seconds, he leaned closer to my ear. Not fast, not sudden, just slowly. The video ended at 10 minutes. In the final frame, his mouth was open slightly, like he was about to speak. But there was no audio. The next morning, I opened my front door to leave for work. There was a printed photograph on the floor outside. It showed me standing in my living room from behind, taken from inside my apartment. And he was in front of me, facing me directly, closer than ever before. His smile stretched wider than I had seen. I don't know how that photo got there. No one in the hallway camera footage entered my apartment. No broken locks, no forced windows. After that, I stopped going to work. I unplugged every device. But yesterday, something happened that I can't explain away. I walked past the bathroom mirror without thinking, and for the first time, I didn't see him behind me. I felt relief, real relief, until I realized something worse. In the reflection, I wasn't alone, but he wasn't behind me anymore. He was standing where I was, and I was the one in the background, smiling. Not a big grin, not exaggerated, just calm, steady, unblinking. Maybe stress played tricks on my mind, or maybe some places carry things we simply don't understand. But one thing I believe with certainty is this: everything happens by the will of Allah. Nothing moves, nothing changes, and nothing touches our lives without His knowledge. Everything happens according to Allah's will. And maybe some questions are not meant to be answered. If you've ever looked at an old photo and felt uneasy, I want you to go check it again after this video ends. And tell me in the comments if someone looks slightly closer than you remember. Share this with someone who keeps old family albums, and subscribe to Unblinking. Because I don't take photos anymore, but sometimes, when my phone screen lights up by itself, see Uzbot standing side by side, smiling.